Now, in this world, Ben Tennyson has been a hero for a number of years, removing his watch, taking on great battles until his own introduction to the Guardians of the Globe. But how did Ben get here? After Ben finds the Omnitrix and defeats his first Vilgax drone, he and his family are approached by Angstrom Levy. He tells them that he has a mission for them, and Max recognizes Angstrom not as a dimension walker, but as a high-ranking plumber, and he takes the offer without question, leaving for this new dimension. And of course, everything is not as it seems with Angstrom Levy, and this team is never leaving this dimension, because Angstrom is never coming back. But back to the story, where he got to fight alongside the immortal Red Rush, and of course, the indomitable Omni-Man. After his first meeting with Nolan, the watch itself alarmed a new setting, a danger warning. He ended up scanning Omni-Man, and of course the completed watch can scan DNA just by being close to a new species. He unlocked a Viltrumite transformation, but he decided not to let Omni-Man know that he had scanned him, as he still felt that there was too much mystery about him. But everything is about to change today. The Mahler twins make a racket at the gate of the White House. As the two bicker and tear down the defenses, a brave security guard seeks to confront one of them. He shoots out his eye, but of course that might have just landed him into a very smushed casket, when suddenly the Guardians of the Globe finally arrive in order to stop them, and of course one of the members includes our hero Ben Tennyson. Immortal and War Woman command the rest of the team to evacuate the civilians, and they move towards that immediately. Ben Tennyson has never been one very keen on taking orders. Immediately transforms into atomics as the rest of the team moves away with the civilians. He gets into the fray of the fight to try and solo the Mahler twins. As War Woman takes on one on the outside, another makes a break towards the wall of the White House, and Ben gets in on him, blowing him away with atomics, crashing through the White House. The rest of the team gets flustered with Ben in the moment as they try to speedily complete their first objective, while Ben starts to wreck the Blue Giant. After finally getting everyone out, they've turned to see that Ben has absolutely mutilated the first Mahler, sending him unconscious, while the rest of the team lock in on the second one, taking him down as well. Ben times out, and they all start screaming at him about how dangerous it was for him to have done what he did, and that he should follow protocol. But Omni-Man only had silent stares to give to Ben as he looked on. Ben returns to play video games, as on the other side of this tale, a young Mark Grayson gets his powers and begins to learn how to use them as taught by his father. This, however, joyous occasion for a young Mark is a terrifying thing for Omni-Man, as it signifies that his mission must start now. Mark Grayson, on the other hand, after a confrontation with a not-so-tough bully, decides that he needs to punch something, and decides to take on the nearest criminal that he finds. He ends up meeting up with Titan, and the two have an amateur scuffle. Once he manages to knock him out, a strange yellow speedster arrives on the scene and converses with Mark a bit. "It seems you're new. I'm Bolt. I've got this." And he jets away with the Titan's body. This is when Omni-Man appears and flies away with Mark. He goes on to further identify himself as Invincible and dons his costume on the beginning of his journey. But things are about to change for the Guardians of the Globe, as they have all been summoned to their base of operations for a meeting that they will surely never forget. Each member quickly wraps up their tasks, whether mundane, romantic, or sumo slammers, just to meet up for this impending emergency. They stand around in the room waiting. The Immortal asks Darkwing why did he summon the team there, but he denounces said claim. However, Omni-Man suddenly strikes at Ben when Red Rush pushes him out of the way. The entire team is shocked out of their minds. They're bewildered as to why Omni-Man is attacking them, but they square up and are forced to begin their attack. Aquarius drops an immediate hydro pump on Omni-Man, and Ben combos with Shock Squatch, electrocuting the Viltrumite. But this isn't enough to hold him down, and he launches an attack at both of them. Red Rush keeps maneuvering the rest of the squad out of the way, and he then goes on the offensive, when he is suddenly caught by Omni-Man, and of course, disposed of. The entire team is shocked and so is Ben. He freezes up mid-battle in fear as he can't believe what just happened. The rest of the team try to coordinate on Omni-Man, but Ben is still frozen in shock. Nolan takes down Darkwing and Green Ghost. Squad is still in disbelief. War Woman charges in on Omni-Man, but she really can't catch those hands, as she is immediately dealt with and her mace is used to kill Aquarius. His body falls at Ben's feet. Ben is ready to try and make his escape as the rest of the team is battling. His ears go deaf as he sees that the members of this squad that he was once a part of are falling, and then he remembers something. He remembers the warning he got. He remembers the scan, how powerful that transformation was. So as Martian Man restricts Omni-Man and Omni-Man starts to get beat on by the rest of the Guardians, Ben transforms into his Viltrumite form he calls Omni-Ben, and he joins the beatdown. Even though War Woman and Immortal's punches don't do as much damage, Ben's punches sting, and Omni-Man starts to lose consciousness. He tries to grab at the Martian's brain to rip him off of him, but it's simply too much and too late. Or at least, so we thought, as Mark Grayson flies in from the shadows and blows them away with strength. Now I bet you're wondering, how is something like this possible? But don't forget this statement.
Remember that world-changing battle between Omni-Man and Invincible a month ago? In most other dimensions, they teamed up and took over the planet.
We just happen to not be in a universe where Mark is a good guy. Omni-Man rips away at the Martian, and now it's a 2-on-3. Omni-Man zooms in to continue the fight, but Ben stands in his way. However, Mark shoves him and gets him out of the room, while Omni-Man takes on War Woman and Immortal, and we all know how that ends. Ben and Mark are flown into the middle of a deserted area near the base, and as the two begin to battle, Ben makes relatively quick work of Mark, until Nolan steps in. So it is now a 2-on-1 battle, and trust me, it gets pretty unfair real quickly. Ben starts getting bloodied and battered. He's become completely desperate and unsure of what to do next, when he finally reaches down to his Omnitrix and transforms into Alien X. Both Mark and Omni-Man back off of Ben immediately with fear in their eyes, but Ben just stands there, floating, not making a move or a sound. They're about to see if they can pummel him back into human form, but before they get the chance, rapid changes start occurring in reality. Omni-Man's design changes, Invincible gets a different suit, the universe starts to unravel as Ben starts to make rapid debate orders for Alien X, trying to see if he can roll one that will help him in this situation, until he finally says, "Viltrumite eradication motion carried," and both Mark and Omni-Man fade away into nothing. This resets the timeline, and we are now back at where it all began, once more with no Viltrumites in sight. Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to go and watch another What If.